Hi, crazy kitten. How are you? Do you like that car? Do you like that car over there? Do you like that? Do you want me to redesign it? And stir up the YouTube opinion pot a little bit? We can do that. Let's do it. Are you ready? Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's TheSketchMonkey here, and today we are going to have a look at the Lamborghini Urus and see if we can redesign it and see where the trends are going, where I think Lambo is going with their design language. And I have some proof to back that up, so don't you worry about that. First of all, let's have a look at this Urus. Of course, it's a brand new segment for Lamborghini, so they kind of had to come up with some new design features and proportions and so on. They did have the old LM SUV, but that was more of a utility vehicle and not so much styling, which this is, of course. This is a lot of, probably one of the most important models for Lambo because you need to get in the SUV segment. I'm just waiting for Ferrari to drop whatever SUV they are going to come out with shortly, because they probably also want to get in on that segment. But design wise, I think it looks good. I mean, I'm a fan of Lambo design. There are a lot of angles everywhere, which you can see that doesn't really have a function, but that's just how Lambo has been for a long time, and that's just what they do. Even since the Gallardo, which is a very clean design and actually is a lot of is very functional. Starting with the Aventador, they started to go in this or Reventon actually, they started going in this direction with a lot of folding surfaces and so on. But I think in the future Lambo is going to have these lights right here. This is their signature LED right now, and you can see that on the Terzo Millennio, you can see that on this Urus, you can see that on the Huracan. The Aventador has some angled versions of these. But what I think is going to happen is what everybody else is starting to do right now. You have it with the Porsche electric emission concept vehicle, the electric vehicle. You have it, McLaren has been doing it for a while now with the Senna, the 720S. And what they do, and Ferrari also has been playing around with it with the Superfast. But what they do, and where I think this trend with supercars is going, is that they're going to have huge openings in the front here. So no body panels or nothing here. And they're going to fill this space with a lot of LEDs. And this is going to be the signature LED of whatever brand it is, the car is. So Lambo is going to have this signature LED somewhere in this huge open space right here. So let's fill that in. But at the same time, you need to have some proper headlights. You need to have some high beams and so on, and you can't really do that with just LED strips. So they are going to hide the high beam, the large LED, the large headlights behind these LEDs, so that you can barely see them when they're not on. So if you see this car coming from behind you or something like that at night, it's all about branding, and you want to make sure you recognize whatever brand it is at night. Even if you can't see the shape of the car, as long as you can see the shape of the LEDs, you should be able to tell what car it is that is coming for you. And Lambo has this Y shape, which is going to be extremely recognizable. It is recognizable right now at night as well. So that's what I think is going to happen here. Me personally, I'm not a fan of these yellow forks down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some different kind of air vent in there. I don't really like this Centenario style, you know, with all these fins in the front. So I'm going to change that as well and make it cleaner. Probably have some angle on this fender right here, so it goes up like that maybe. And same on that. And remove this middle one. We can keep these two because two symmetrical, it looks nice. Other than that, I'm going to keep the rest of the car as it is. I'm just going to work on the front fascia of this car. And now let's jump in to the redesign video and let's see how this goes. It's interesting to see all these new SUVs coming out from luxury brands and hardcore sport car brands such as the Lamborghini Urus right here. In today's market, they kind of have to, because it's such a huge market for any manufacturer. Unless they have an SUV, they are missing out on a lot of sales and a lot of revenue for the company. And that's why you have the Bentley Bentayga, for example, or the new Rolls-Royce Cullinan. They're not always the best looking cars because the brands have to reinvent themselves to create an SUV shape, which they've never done before. But at the same time, they need an SUV in their fleet. Porsche, of course, was kind of the pioneers with this when it comes to sports car manufacturers starting to create SUVs with the Cayenne and also the hugely successful Macan. I'm just waiting for Ferrari to drop. I'm not sure if they made a concept yet. Maybe they have and I've totally missed it. But I'm sure Ferrari is going to drop an SUV pretty soon. And also Aston Martin, I think they had a concept showing some sort of SUV. Alfa Romeo is already there. They did the Stelvio. But the thing with the Lambo though is it's a sports car. It's a hardcore sports car manufacturer. They don't just create a lot of different cars and then just one or two sports car here and there. And they always kind of want to be the baddest design among whatever segment they are in. So talking about this big opening in the front, I think if you look at the McLarens, I think they are probably the 720S is the best example of this. It's a pretty large opening and was kind of controversial when it came out. Yeah, I didn't know if I liked it, but then I saw it in real life, and as usual, whenever I see cars in real life that I don't like on photo, I usually come around and have a better opinion about the design of the car when I see them in real life, and that's exactly what happened with the 720S. So that car has a huge opening, but of course Lambo, they're going to have to beat that. So that's why I'm making this huge large opening with this massive LED in there, because it's all about branding, as I said in the beginning. And I made a similar redesign of the Huracan a while ago. I think I'm gonna link it up here in this video. You can go check it out, but after you check this video out, of course, come on. But that one had a similar idea of how that redesign or the next generation Huracan is going to look like. I'm pretty sure this is actually going to happen, and it will be so much fun to see a few years from now when they replace these cars and see how close I was to the actual replacement of these cars. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see that. And then they're gonna come out and they're gonna look completely different for my redesigns, and I'm gonna look like a complete idiot. But you know what? That's fine. But I think what's important nowadays is branding, and also keep the branding when you can't see the car. And you do that by using LEDs, of course. That's why you see all these, the new Camaro has some weird looking LEDs, but you know that it's a Camaro SS when it comes at night and you see it on the other lane coming towards you. You know, with those weird LEDs that goes under the hood, you know, tiny strips of light, you know, that's a Camaro, and that's important for branding. So I created a few iterations of this Lamborghini Urus front fascia redesign, and I thought this was it. But if you stick around, I'm actually going to change this front that I have right now into something a little bit more, what to call it, streamlined, if you want to call it that, because I think this is too vertical. The lines of the LEDs, for example, they're too vertical, and the cut line right above the 4 LED lights that you see there, I think that one is too horizontal, so I'm gonna have it dip more into the center of the hood, and that way it just creates a little bit more aggressiveness to the design. This is all going to make sense in just a few seconds here when you see what I'm talking about. It's a lot easier to show you by sketching it out than to try to talk about it. So just stick around for that, and we're gonna get to that point pretty soon. By the way, what do you think of the Urus? Do you like it, or do you think they went too far with the styling? I can see why some people would think that. I don't know how much more they can take this design language, or how much more extreme it can be when it comes to different curves and different surfacing and so on. I think this is probably where they wanna start thinking about maybe taking a step back or keep it at this level. Otherwise it's going to become a Lykan Hypersport, and you know that car. I'm not a fan of that car. It just looks like a bunch of random lines going into each other with zero line flow, and to me that's just going to make the car look cheap. But for this Urus, I really like the design. I think they managed to find a balance between what they are, which is a raw, sharp, angular design without taking it too far. So for me, this Urus is a win. But you know, if I were to buy an SUV, if I had to have an SUV, I would probably just buy a Volvo XC90. So this is what I was talking about earlier, to make it more angular and make it more, make the top line of the hood, of the cut line of the hood, more angled towards the center of the Lambo badge in the front, and I think that looks a lot better. And this, of course, is the before and after, and that's about it for this Urus redesign. I really hope you enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed making this. If you like this kind of videos, check out my playlist up here that's called Car Makeovers. I have a bunch of these videos in there that I think you're going to enjoy. I'm TheSketchMonkey. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.